Hello, I would like to thank you for taking the time out to listen to this video. Um, my name is Nadine, and I'm trying to start a foundation for my brother. His name was Garland Jeffers, and they called him Peter Man. And he was incarcerated over 46 years. And I wanted to do this video because he had asked me would I tell his story. Well, he passed this past summer, but before he passed, he had been trying to get different appeals for years and years and years. And I know I had did a lot of them with him also. And I saw him being rejected repeatedly. But he never gave up hope. He continued to just try to fight for his freedom. And he always said, I did the crime, I did my time. Why won't they give me justice and set me free? And he continued to try to fight with his appeals. And the last time I was there, he was very inspired. And one of my visits, I was seeing that he had got rejected again. But he still said, I'm going to do another appeal anyway. And his last appeal was that he was doing was to, he was going to the Supreme Court. And so we were sitting there, and I could see the disappointment. I felt disappointed when he told me that he was rejected again, but he was going to do another one, and he was sure he would be out in 3 months with this appeal. And so I told him, I said, you know, you really should tell your story. You should write your story. And he leaned over and he said, I want you to tell my story. And I thought, I don't really know what I could say. I don't know your story like you know it. But then he sat back, and he was a very wise person. And he didn't say anything, but he kind of sit back, and we just continued on with our visit and talked. And he passed. After he passed, I started looking into a lot of his papers, and I was seeing what he was trying to do at the end. And so I decided I would tell his story. I would be his voice. Even though he's passed, and there's nothing could be done for him other than try to get justice, because he should have been out. And he should have died outside the prison instead of inside the prison. So this is just not for him, but this is for other black men that have been treated with unfair sentences, and other black men that have gotten long sentences like him. And I hope this will help other inmates that maybe are going through the same thing as he is, and which I know it is a lot of them doing it, trying to put in their appeals and trying to get out because they've gotten these long unjust sentences. So I want to just try to, not just for him, but for others, to try to help others that might be in the same situation right now. And they maybe they're still alive, but I want to try to see if this foundation could help other young men. And I'm saying this to all young men. If you maybe don't have a father, and this is what happens when you give long sentences like this, you end up with a generation of young people that don't have a father. They end up with grandchildren that they never got a chance to be with, great-grandchildren. and even their own children. And so you break a generation of family when you give these unfair sentences. Now, these sentences, mostly unfair sentences, are mostly given to the black men. I'm not saying that other races maybe don't get a fair sentence, but I definitely know that the black men are getting unfair sentences. And I just want to try to see what change or what difference I can make by starting this foundation. One thing I know he continued to write and say, I did the crime, I did the time, but I should be set free. And that was the injustice that he felt that he had been done. And he repeatedly wrote that every time he would write letters. He would just say, I'll be out. I got another appeal, and I'll be out. And so I'm just speaking out in his behalf. And I thank you for listening. Justice for